Hello, my friends. Today we're learning Baba Basra Daf Yud Beis. We're going to start about 5 lines down. Omar Rabba Bar Bar Chana Omar Rabbi Yochanan. Mevois amefuloshois li'iracheres. So we spoke about Mevois. Mevois is like a street with a dead end. That's a Mavoi. And from that street, there's Chatzeres, there's like porches, gardens that go into the houses. So you have a Mavoi, and Mefuleshes means that it's not a dead end, that it's opened on both sides. Leir Acheres means to the direction, to the road that goes to the other city. So let's say you have Gateshead, and there's a road going from Gateshead to Newcastle, and on the road from Gateshead to Newcastle, there is a Mavoi, the street that's open to the main street. And the people in Gateshead want to block these Mavois that they won't have a way to go from this street onto the main road to go to Newcastle. The people from the other city, from Newcastle, and they can tell the people of Gateshead, we're not willing, you can't block this because it will make us, we'll have to go a different way to get to Newcastle, it will make us a longer way. If there's no other way to get to Newcastle, they could say, we're not willing for you to block these streets. Even if to get to Newcastle there's another way, so they're not literally blocking it that they can't get there whatsoever. Now they still could say we're not willing for you to block this street. Why is that? Mishum de Rabbi Yehuda Omarav, Rabbi Yehuda Omarav, Meitzer shechzuku b'rabim, a way that lots of people, there's a chazaka that people are allowed to use it, to go in it and use it as a shortcut, whatever it is, a way. Also, that's it belongs to the rabbim and you're not allowed to use it. So even if the gated people want to block it, since the people of Newcastle and everyone in the world are used to using this way, so you're not allowed to block it. So he has a mavoi and it's open to Rishus Rabbim. They want to put a gate, they want to make it like a private estate and put a fence at the entrance of the Mavoi, that only the people who live in the Mavoi can come into this Mavoi, and people from Rishus Rabbim can't. Says the Gemara, Bnei Rishus Rabbim, the people of Rishus Rabbim could say, no, you can't put a gate over there, sorry. And we're going to see in a second why. So the Gemara 40 means Animili Bedalet Amois Keder Abzera. It means that the first 4 amas of the Mavoi, you can't put a gate. The 4 amas deep into the Mavoi, for sure you could put a gate, a fence to block the people to go in. Like Rab Zera, Omar Rav Nachman, Omar Rav Zera, Omar Rav Nachman, Dalet Amos Esmuchen Rishus Rabbim, Rishus Rabbim Damian. They have it in Rishus Rabbim, the first 4 amas in the Mavoi. So that's why you're not allowed to put a fence, but after that, you're allowed to put a fence. Telling more of a loyi, and this is not true, you're not allowed to put a fence whatsoever. Also, lenient tumor over there, he was talking about lenient tumor, that there had been Sofik tumor Rishus Rabbim Tor, Sofik tumor Rishus Yochid Tome. So Rab Zera is Mechadesh, in the name of Rav Nachman, that even though that in Sofik tumor Rishus Yochid Tome, but if it's a 4 amas in the Mobi that's close to Rishus Rabbim, we look at the other Rishus Rabbim, but that's a din in tumor. Over here, the reason why they can't put a fence is because sometimes there's a levaya, a wedding, or just a very busy market there, and there's lots of people who Rishus Rabbim, and there's no space. They go into the Mavois, and they go in more than Daladamis. So therefore, Rishus Rabbim have a right to use a Mavoi when it's squashed, and therefore the Bnei Mavoi are not allowed to fence up the Mavoi, even more than 4 amas deep. We learned in the Mishnah, they don't split a field. You need each one to have 9 kav, and then Rabbi Yehuda says that it's enough 9 half a kavs each. So the Chari argues, says the Gemara, they don't argue. Marki Astre. Depends what type of land they had. In the place of Rabbi Yehuda, the lands were much better. And therefore, even 9 half kavim was enough to be considered a sodeh, because it would produce good produce. So therefore, even 9 half the size of the Tanakama is still considered a sodeh, and therefore you could still split up until that size. But it depends on the type of land where you live. So the more b'Bovel in Bovel, how much does each one need to get after you split up that you could force each other to split up this field? Omar Rav Yosef says Rav Yosef Beirodu Yoima, that if each one's left with a field that takes a day to plow, then you could split up. If there's less than a day to plow, you can't split up. And why do you need a full day to plow? Because normally you'd get a worker, you'd rent a worker, you'd rent the oxes to plow the fields, the type of tractor of those days. And if you have less than a day, you're wasting money because it's only rented per day. And if you have 3/4 of a day, so you're wasting a quarter of the day that you're paying for no reason. So you need at least a day of harisha. What does that mean? Because let me just explain, there's two types of harisha. There's one harisha after you cut all the wheat off, afterwards you do a harisha, and there's another harisha, another plowing that you do just when you're planting the new seeds the next year. So which day of plowing are we talking about? If we're talking about when you're planting, it takes a day to do with the machresha. But the earlier plowing, you don't have 2 days because the plowing earlier takes longer than the plowing when you plant because it's the first time you're doing it and all the old produce are still rooted in the ground. So if it takes a day to do it when you're planting, it doesn't take 2 days, it takes a day and something when you do the earlier plow. And therefore, you still don't have a full day. So it doesn't make sense what he's saying. If he's talking about when we said the full day of plowing, it means the day when you plow after you cut the produce. When you're gonna plow again later when you're planting, you don't have a full day. It's less than a day, and therefore you're going to be paying for this ox for a full day, and you only need it for part of the day. It's a waste. So the Gemara says, Iboy Seima, if you want, I can tell you. I'm going to the second chapter in Rashi. Iboy Seima Yoima de Karva. It's talking about a full day of plowing when after you cut the produce, that takes a full day. All the we asked that would be Yoima Zara doesn't take a full day. No, it's talking about the Koravatoni. It's over in a place when you plant, you'll plant all the seeds and plow again over it. So you do extra plowing, so therefore it takes a full day, and therefore it's full days and there's no issues. If you want another terror, it's Yom Desara. When we said the full day of plowing, it means a full day of plowing when you're planting. All the we said if it's a full day of plowing when you're planting, it's not 2 days when you're plowing early on. And that Gemara says, Baduri, somewhere where the land is very hard, and when you plow after you cut off the produce, so because the land is very hard, you need 2 full days to plow the field, and therefore it's full days, and therefore it makes sense, the din that we said, that you could split the field when each one has a day of plowing when you're planting the new seeds. Said the Gemara, Davla, if they have a bowl where you get from that you water the field, Omar of Nachman, when can you split up the field? When could Reuven split his partner Shimon to split up? Beidolu Yoima. If after you split up, each one has enough of a field, they'll take a whole day to water it, it's okay, because normally, again, you'd get a worker to do that, and you can't get a worker for 3/4 of a day or half a day, you pay higher rates. So if there is enough that takes a whole day to water the field, so you could split up. Paradisa, if it's an orchard, Omar Avur the Shmuel Bas Shloisha Kabin, that's the size of Shloisha Kabin each. Hanin Amiochia have arrived from the Braisa, Oimer Chavero, you saw him tell his friend, Monas Bekerem Ani Moichelcha, I'm selling you a portion in the Kerem, Sumchus Oimer, Lo Yivches Migimel Kabim, you shouldn't give less than 3 Kabim, so we could see that 3 Kabim is considered a Kerem, a paradise, an orchard. Omar of Yosi, Ein Elu Elo Divri Nevius, these words of Sumchus, we don't understand where he gets them from. Where does he get the share of 3 kav? It's like different nevirus without no tam. Different chokhmah is logic. Nevirus is Hashem said, so it's like I don't understand where it comes from. Tell the Gemara beBovel Mai. In Bovel, what's considered the orchard of vine? Omarova bar kasna klas atiosa. 3 portions of each one is atiosa is 12 grape trees are called atiosa. So 3 of those, that each one has 12 grapes in it, so a total of 36. the Rovpik Gavra B'yoima, the amount that a person takes to dig in a day. So that if each one has such a 36 grape trees, that means there's a total of 72, you could split up. Omar Rabbi Avdimi Dimin Haifa. We said before about Sumcha that it's different Nevius, so now we're going to talk about Nevius. Omar Avdimi Dimin Haifa, who comes from Haifa, Yom Shechar Beis Hamikdash, from the day that the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. Nitlo Nevuah min Nevim, the Nevuah was taken from the Nevim, and Nitna lechachomim, and it was given to the Chachomim. Said the Gemara, Otu Chacham lav Noviu. It's mashma that we used to be by the Nevim who are not Chachomim, and now it's given to the Chachomim. What? To the no Nevim who are Chachomim? Said the Gemara, Ochekoma, Afal Pi shenitlo min Nevim, even though that was taken away from Nevim, and not all Nevim, especially Chachomim. It could be a Novi without Chachma, but in the Chachomim, the ones who are Chachomim, Lo Nitlo, they still have Nevuah. Omar Meimar, the Chacham Odri for Novi, it's better a Chacham and a Novi. Shenemar, because it's in the Pasuk, the Novi levav Chachma, and a Novi has the heart of Chachma. I mean, we're saying a Novi is so good, he even has Chachma. Minitla b'mi. Who do we say, oh wow, look how great he is, he's like that? We say the small on the big. He's so great, he's like someone even greater. We say the small one is great like the big one. So if we say a Novi, wow, he has Chochma, so we can see Chochma is more than Nevuah. Omar Abaye, take that, I'll bring you Aryeh, the Omar Gavarabba Milsa. That great person says something. And some other great person says exactly the same thing. Kavosei. So we could see a Chacham is better than a Novi. Omar Rava, my Kushya, big deal. Maybe they both have the same mazel, so they think in the same way, and that's why they come up with the same Kedushin. Big deal. That's not right. Says the Gemara, Elo Omar Rava. Rava says, I'll tell you how I know that Chacham is better than a Novi. Take that the Omar Gavar Rabba Milsa. A great person could say something. Misamra Mishmei Rabbi Akiva Bar Yosef Kavosei, and then you find out that Rabbi Akiva Bar Yosef says the same, and Rabbi Akiva Bar Yosef, you can't say you have the same mazel as him. He was such a great person, Rashi says. Much, much greater. And I feel like they say the same. Elamai, we could see a Chacham is like a Novi, they mechaven to each other. Omar Avashi, my kusha, what's the raya from that? What's the kasha that he's saying, Elamai Chacham Odof Minovi? Very good, you can't be the same mazel like Rabbi Akiva ben Yosef, but maybe in this specific idea, you have the same mazel like Akiva ben Yosef, and that's why you mechaven to draw Dvarov, but it's not great of any views. Omar Avashi Teida, I'll bring you a raya, the Omar Gavar Milsa, the Omar Gavar Rabba Milsa, a great person says something, Misamra, Alocha L'Moshe Messina Kavosei, and then we find out is Alocha L'Moshe Messina, like what he said. So we could see, wow, it's like Nevuah. Says like more, but maybe it's like a blind person in a chimney who's just climbing through and he can't see anything and he's just trying his luck. And this guy said something, and we find out that Alocha L'Moshe Messina is like that. How do we see that it's like Nevuah? Says like more of a love Tamaki Yoiv. Does he not? Does he not give a time when the Gavar Rabba says this thing? He says a reason why he's saying this, and it's a good time. And then we find that Aloch L'Moshe Messina says the same, so we can see that Chacham is Odif and Novi. Omar Rabbi Yochanan, Yom Shechar Beis Hamikdash, from the day that the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, Nitla Nevuah min Nevim, the Nevuah was taken away from the prophets, V'nitna L'Shoitim V'Letinoikos was given to idiots, insane people, and young girls. What's the story? Where do we see that Shoitim have Nevuah? The son of Ravashi, he was going in the market in Mechuzah. He hit this crazy person, the Karmarish Mesifta, the Molich B'Masa Machzir, the Rosh Yeshiva, who's a king, who's becoming now the Rosh Yeshiva in the place called Masa Machzir, Tivyumi Chotim. He signed his letters with the name Tivyumi. Omar. So Mar Ravashi said, Man chotim to view B'Rabbanan, who's the one who signs his letters to view me? I know, it's me. Shema minole, didi kai milishaita, my mazel is now, and they want to appoint me as a Rosh Yeshiva in Masa Machzir. Come also, he got up and went direction of Masa Machsia, Adosa, until he got the Inu Rabbanon Le'oisviller of Achamidifti Beresha. They were thinking to put Rav Achamidifti Beresha because they never knew that Marbar Avashi is on his way and he's going to, and they wanted to, Marbar Avashi was greater, they wanted to appoint him, but he wasn't around. So they said, okay, we'll put Rav Achamidifti as Rosh Shiva. Kevin the Shama de Asa, since they heard that he's on the way, Shoda Zuga the Rabbanon Legabe, they sent two Talmidei Chachomim to greet him, and Nimluche Bey to ask him, what should we do? Should we put the Rabbi, Rav Achamidifti, who we were planning to put, or we should wait until you come? Akve, he delayed them, the two Shluchim, he came and didn't let them go back, he started talking to them. Other Shoda Zuga the Rabbanon Achronis sent another two Talmidei Chachomim. Akve, he kept them by him. Gabe, Adam Mole Asara, until he had 10 people with him. Kevin the Mole Asara, since he had 10 Rabbanon by him, Pasachu V'tona, he opened and he started to learn V'dorash, and he started the darshan. The fisha in Poischim Bekala Pavos Masara. Kala was a type of thing like we call it today Archikala, that twice a year that go for a month to learn like properly and they take off. So he said to open a drosha in a Kala you need 10 people. So he waited 10 people and then he started the Kala. Kori Ravacha and Avshe Ravacha was going to get appointed and the last minute he didn't get appointed. He said on himself, Kola Miriam Loi, anyone who they put him down, who got pushed away, Loi be Meir Metivim Loi, not very quick, he'll get back up. Kola Metivim Loi, and someone like Marbar Avashu, they make him Rosh Shiva, Loi be Meir Miriam Loi, not very quick, we push him away. So we could see that the Shoita had the nevuah that Marbar Avashi is going to be Rosh Shiva. What do we see about young girls that they have nevuah? Kihode Bas Rav Chizda. The daughter of Chizda, Ava Yasve Bekanfe Davor, she was sitting like in a cloak of her father. Ava Yasve Kamei, they were sitting in front of her father of Chizda. Rova Veromi Bar Choma. His Talmidim, Amarlo, Man Minai boys, which one of these Rabbanon do you want to marry? Amarle, she said, Tavai, both of them. Omarova, Rova said, Vana Basra, I'll marry you second. First Ram Bar Choma and then me. And the Bach is Moisef V'chein Ava, and that's what happened, that they both married her. So we could see that young girls have nevuah. Omar Rav David min Haifa, koidim sheyochel adam ve'ishte, before a person eats and drinks, yesh lo shtei levavos, he has two hearts, meaning he's not very clear about making decisions, he's mixed up. After he eats and drinks, he has one heart, he's clear what he wants. Shenamar, where do we see this? It's in the Pasuk, Ish Novu V'Lavev. And in a second we'll see what Novuv means, but Yilavev means he has two hearts. V'ksiv Novuv Luchois, and Mitargumin, and we explain, Choli Luchin, empty Luchois. I mean, they'll be empty, so when it says Novuv Yilavev, it means an empty stomach, because we could see Novuv with the notion empty Yilavev, he has two hearts. If you're hungry, you don't have a clear idea what you want. Someone who's used to drinking wine, even if his heart is blocked like a psula, like a virgin who has no entrance. The yain opens him up. V'tiroish wine, Yenuvo Besulos will open up Besulos, and we're learning that means someone whose heart is closed. Yeah, Rashi says Leiv Otum Kepsula, it's a blocked heart like a psula. Oisinov V'cholule opens it up. Omar Rav Huna brother of Yeshua. Shita, this is simple to us, this case. If Chelek B'chor V'chelek Poshut Yavinu Echad Mitzra. So Yaakov died and he has two kids, Reuven and Shimon. Reuven's a Bechorah, he gets double amount. Now, Yaakov had 3 fields, so Reuven, the Bechorah, gets 2 and Shimon gets 1. So he's saying that Reuven, the Bechorah, will get both his fields next to each other. If 2 fields are next to each other and the third's further away, not connected to those 2 fields, we'll give it to him together because it's all midin chalukah of a bechor that he gets double. So he has the right to say, don't put me one here and one far away. That's simple to us. What's the thing, Yovamai? So again, Yovam, Reuven, let's say there's no bechor. Reuven's not a bechor, let's say he has an older sister or something. And Shimon, his brother, died without no kid. And he did Yibum to Shimon. So he gets his, now when Yaakov is going to die, Reuven gets his chelik and Shimon's chelik, and now there's Levi also involved, and again there's 3 fields, 2 together and 1 separately. So do we say now that Reuven did Yibum to Shimon's wife, so now he gets Shimon's chelik in the Nachlo from Yaakov, so now he gets his, like we said, as a Bechor, he gets it together, so also here he gets it together. Or now we say, no, each one's separate. Reuven's chelik is separate, that they get Shimon's chelik, he gets his chelik, but it's like a separate in Yerusha, and therefore there's no din. They should get it together. And Levi could say, no, I want one of these two connected fields. Omar Abaye, it's the same. It's like a Bechor in my time. A Bechor Karei Achmona. It said in the Psukim of Yovel that Bechor, so we call him, he has a proper din Bechor, like a Bechor takes on the same side, so also he takes on the same side. Rav Amar no, Omar Kro, it said in the Pasuk of Oya Bechor, and we learn Abba Yosek Bechor, I mean, he takes two like a Bechor. Bein Chalukosek Bechor, but he doesn't get the Chaluk like a Bechor to get both on the same side, and the other lady could demand to get one of these two fields that connected one to each other, or that Reuven should pay him extra for taking this two fields next to each other. Said the Gemara, there's Arata, someone who bought a piece of land, Amatra de Beinosha, on the side neighboring to his Beis Nosha. Now, Beis Nosha, Rashi explains by his father, the other people explain, other Rishonim explain that it means by his father-in-law, because normally Beis Nosha means by his father-in-law, and his father-in-law has only daughters, no sons. Hiko Palgu, and his father-in-law, his father passed away, and he came time to Yerusha. Omalei, he told his brothers or his sister-in-laws, Pliguli Amitzroi, the chelik that I'm getting in Yerusha, let me get the chelik that's connected to the land I own, like Dinah de Bar Metzra, and you take the other pieces of land. Omar Rabba, going there in such a case, Koifim Almidas he has a field, it makes sense they should have two fields next to each other, and the other people say, no, we want specially this field. That's near a stone, he's just being mean like stone, and therefore we force them, and he gets a chelik. Mati for Rav Yosef has a kashan rabba, Amrile, Achi, Ma'alina Leiluye, Kinichse de Barmarian. The brothers, tell him, what do you mean you bought a field next to our father's land? Let's go with Rashi's pshat the father. You bought a field next to our father's land, and now our father passed away, you want that field? That field is our best field, like Barmarian had very good fields. We kind of that specific field is a very good field. And if you want it, pay us extra, or give it to us. Maybe we'll pay you extra, but we're not willing just because you bought a field at one point to get this best field. So the Gemara Rav Yosef that he doesn't have a schus on that field. Trey and Rosa Atreni agree. So there's two pieces of land that Yaakov died and was nourished to his kids, and each one has a well in it to collect water from. Omer, and one of the Yerushim has a field connected, the neighboring. So Omer Rabba, going there in such a case, Koifim al Midas Toim. For sure you're going to say Midas Toim and give it to him. Let him have his neighbor field. Let him have the field that's next to his field they already owned. It will be much easier for him in life. Matki Flor of Yosef, asked Rabbi Yosef Akasha, Dimim Dai Madvil Vai Loi Madvil. Sometimes the wells dry up. So the other brother could tell him, listen, I'm not willing that you should take the field next to your field with the well. Maybe if I take the other field, maybe mine's going to dry up and I won't have what to do. Let's split them. There's two fields. Let's split them. Each field, half. And I'll have half of this field of the well and you'll have half of that field of the well. And therefore, if one of them dries, at least I'll have the other half. That's still good. So the Gemara B'ilchus Rav Yosef, the halacha is like Rav Yosef. Said the Gemara, clarity, two fields that Yaakov was Morish, Achad Nigra, on one well, Rav Yosef, and then on one of the sides of these two fields, one of the brothers has already a piece of land. Rav Yosef going there. In such a case, I agree to Rabba Koifim al Midas Toim, because there's no reason, because you're both using the same well, there's no reason why this brother should get the field that's further away from his field. There's no time anymore. Matkiflo Abaye asked the kasha Motzi Omar, this brother could say, but the afish arisi, if you take the field that's not connected to your field that you already have, that means my field's going to be in the middle, so that means you're going to have two separate fields. You have to have two arisim, two people who are going to manage your fields, one for this field and one for that field, and then my field in the middle is going to be protected because your arisim or there's tourists in one side of my field, one on the other side, and they'll see if there's an issue, if there's a leak, if something's going wrong in my field. So I prefer it that way. So what's pshat? The brother has a right. So the more no, beilchas karvesif over here. The halachas like karvesif. It's koifim is halmid stoim afushi barisi. Being moisef and arisi lach milse. It's not right that the other brother could say, "Oh, I want you to have lots of arisim that will protect my land." That's not taina, and therefore koifim halmid stoim, and we give the brother who owns the property in the neighbor to the one that's close to him. They should be one big field, and he shouldn't have a separation in between. Says the Gemara, Yud Gimel Amud Aleph, Chad Gisa Nagra v'Chad Gisa Nara. If you have a field that's on one side, like in Mizrach, you could look in the picture of Rashi, there's on the Tzofan, there's a Nagra, there's a well. V'Chad Gisa Nara, on the other side, in the Mizrach, there's a river. And the river is much better. Now, no one has over here fields on the neighboring. Now, this is just coming to Lachloik, this field. And a river is much better than a well, because a well dries up much quicker than a river. So how will you split this property that they'll be both the same close to the river and the same close to the well? So says the Gemara, Palginana bekarna the zoil, and Rashi, Lefi Rashi is chat, it's a drawing over here in Rashi, you split it up into 8 pieces, 4 squares, and each square into half slanty, and therefore each one gets a piece, and it works out that everyone are the same distance from the river and the same distance from the well, and no one loses. It just doesn't seem very easy to work with your field when you have 4 fields in triangles. But that's pshat, that's how Rashi learns. Tosfos learns a bit different, that the river and the river and the well are on opposite sides, but like in the corners, and therefore you split the field like in half, but not like normally in half, like slanty in half. If this is a square, you split it slanty in half, and here's the river, and they're both close to the river, and here is the well, and they're both close to the well. If you look at the pictures, they're very easy to understand. Thank you very much. We should all be blessed and happy, and here, B'Seres Tovis, Amen.